Hey guys, we are back again with Kicking Cancer Cares on KSLM Radio. Our sponsor for the second half is Venti's Cafe, and they are amazing as well. We have two really good food sponsors.
Oh, yeah.
They're so good. So the other day, I had a meeting with somebody, and I wasn't super hungry, neither were they. So we ended up going to Venti's and getting their pita and hummus dish, and just shared some hummus together, and it was so good.
And the food we had from the first half,
yes,
that's actually one of your favorites there, isn't it?
Yes.
Sweet potato fries.
Yes, it is. But I wanted to change it up and just get something different, and so we did just the hummus, and it was so good.
Yeah.
It was really good. So Venti's Cafe is a good one, you guys. Check them out for dinner.
Well, I want to pick up on something that Riki was talking about in the first half, and it's called somatic coaching. So can you elaborate a little bit on what exactly somatic coaching is?
Well, with somatic coaching, you're taking the energy that we have stored in our body, and I'm going through a meditative release of where that energy is stored. Let's say you feel like you've got an ache in your shoulder and you want to have it released. So we go in and we find out, well, what did you store there? Mm-hmm. A lot of times it's that overburden, that weight, and then we get down to one of those top 10 emotions, and it's actually fear.
Okay.
So when we get to where we acknowledge that it's fear of something, and it could be fear of the future because you've got all this weight on your shoulder.
Yeah.
Then I go through, again, a meditative process where we're tapping into your intuition. And when we tap into your intuition, I'm going to ask you to describe what's stored there, so that we give it a physical shape.
Yeah.
A lot of times it could be smoky, cloudy, heavy, soft, wrinkly. And once we've determined what it all looks like, sometimes during that process, the client finds it's gone because we've identified it.
Right.
If it's something is still there, then I ask them, well, how do you want it to be released?
Okay.
And I just love this one. One client said they wanted it to shoot it out into space in a rocket.
Yeah.
So that's what we did.
Okay.
I walked her through taking the emotions, shoving them into the rocket, lighting the fuselage so that it would be shot into space. And then you ask, well, is it gone? And they're like, they're in amazement. I can move my shoulders. Yes, it's gone. So that's what somatic coaching is all about.
Okay.
What's intriguing is I know there was one time that I was going through this with another person, not Riki, but somebody else, and different parts of your body represent different people, different objects, different things in your life. And so once you identify what is causing the problem in that area, then it becomes easy to then fix that problem, whether it be having conversations with that person or whatever the case might be.
You're working towards identifying what, where, when, and why almost.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And once you're able to do that, you're able to let it go. Because there's some great books on there on how to let it go.
Yeah. It's almost hiding out, and you got to seek it out and do away with it.
Fear of what's there hiding that you've got to get rid of.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of us have anger that we tend to stuff. Well, if you're having liver problems, guess where the anger is being stored?
The liver.
In the liver.
The liver.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot of documentation with that. And it's one I've personally worked on.
Okay.
And different joints have different things as well. So it's a very intriguing process. Something else you mentioned in the first half was chakras. And I know there's an image. If you look up chakras, it kind of has the image that I see as somebody in a yoga position, but all these different colors and all these different places on their body. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit, Riki, on what the chakras are?
That's where the terminology came from. It came from India. It came from the yoga positions because we have energy centers. Mm-hmm. Massage therapists, they have meridians that they work with. And so with the Reiki, we understand that to be in balance, our chakras need to be in balance. And so part of my training, when I'm doing my what's called a Boysen scan, I'm scanning those chakra centers so that if they're out of a line, I can get Reiki to nudge them. Okay. Again, I'm not doing it, and if Reiki doesn't feel that one needs to be nudged, it's not going to. My hope is that as I'm going through the Boysen scan and providing the Reiki, they're going to benefit from it no matter what. takes place. And we know that there are 7 of them.
So let's go through the different Reikis
Yeah.
for Amanda's sake. What's the first Reiki center?
You mean chakra?
I mean chakra, not sorry. What's the first chakra center?
Well, so there's a couple ways that you can look at this. I can start at the head, but when we're working with the chakras, a lot of times we work with the root. Because when we're trying to get them in line, you want to start with the root. But let's go ahead and start with the crown. And so with the crown chakra, this is where we're opening it up to receive the energy. This is your connection to whatever you call source. For me, it's God. And so by focusing on the crown, this is where I'm getting you to connect with whatever resonates with you, whatever you know is out there in the universe that's greater than you.
Okay.
And I use a crystal. I use a clear one or an amethyst.
Is there a reason why you choose those ones?
Because I did my research. There is our crystals and gemstones, even a basic rock on the ground, it has energy because it's part of the earth. It's part of the grounding. And so it operates at a higher frequency.
Okay.
So when we were talking about frequencies earlier, those are your healing frequencies.
Okay. And different colors represent different things?
That's correct.
Okay. There's so much
colors
to it.
and rocks have different representation when it comes to this stuff too.
Okay. Keep going.
Exactly.
Sorry.
So then the next one is our third eye, where we're opening up to our intuition. And this is where we're wanting to have that voice, because we have several voices in our head, and that's the one we want to listen to the most. It's tied with that gut feeling.
Yes.
Listen to it, folks.
Yes.
Listen to it.
Listen.
Because it's going to bring clarity to whatever is going on, and it's that inner knowing. Trust it. It does know. And then we go to our throat chakra, and this one is dealing with speech.
Okay.
And dealing with speaking up for yourself and speaking your truth, not what you need to regurgitate for everyone else, but speaking your truth and having confidence in that. And that one is a light blue stone. I happen to like the blue lace agate. It's one of my favorites. And I might have mentioned the third eye. A lot of people use sodalite or lapis lazuli, a dark blue.
Okay.
And amethyst could also be used there.
Would the throat be also like when someone just is constantly clearing their throat out, they're having a hard time speaking? That could be that one as well?
Exactly. So there are signals like that goes that they're struggling with their throat chakra. Laryngitis means you're having trouble with your throat chakra.
Okay.
A sore throat, you're not being able to speak what you think you need to speak.
Yes.
Because sometimes we get censored.
Yes.
And that's where it shows its appearance. And then we have your love and compassion, which is your heart chakra. Again, this is green, like green aventurine, or pink, like your rose quartz. It has both colors there.
Okay.
And this one is the this is where you deal with grief. And this is where you deal with betrayal. Because those are really tough ones for someone to get over, and it takes more than one session to get over those. Because if you've had a series of events, we tend to
bottle it
up. But knowing that, so your pinks and your greens, where are your pinks and your greens?
Yeah.
Right?
And for those that are listening, you really do want to go to YouTube to see the colors that Riki has right now.
She's got them all.
Yes.
She's well represented.
Yes. And then we want to get to our solar plexus, and this is you. This is your personal power. This is your confidence. This is where Reiki will come in and help you be authentically you. It knows who you are.
Yes.
And so it will help you with all of that. If you're dealing with a lot of fear, this is where we tend to stick it. So if you're having digestive issues, guess what? You're dealing with some type of fear. Fear of moving forward, fear of dealing with what's ever going on. Well, fear is an illusion. So as long as you can keep that in the back of your mind, because there's only one true emotion, and that's love.
Okay.
So put love there, and it will help dissipate that fear.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, right?
Love that.
And then we get to your sacral chakra, and this is tied to our ability to feel and express. So this is your receiving hand, which is your left hand, and then your giving hand. And this is where you need to trust yourself with receiving help
And
giving help,
Okay.
receiving love, giving love. This is why our productivity organs are stored, because that's the giving and receiving. And so what comes here, so this is where we might tend to store emotional blockages, that we feel someone has hurt us, and we have to let it go.
Yeah.
And that's letting it go is probably easier said than done, I'm sure.
It is. And I think our society really struggles with that femininity and masculinity and that whole identity, and this is where it is.
Right.
And coming to terms with who you are. Again, I stress that authentic person that we all have within us.
Yes.
And then with the root chakra, this is your money chakra, just in case you want to know. This is your safety. This is where you need to be grounded. Lots of red, so that you are open to the receiving and the giving. And so if you're feeling anxious, guess which chakra? It's your root one.
Okay.
And again, this is where Reiki comes in, because all it is love. And it's dispelling that illusion of fear.
Yeah. Okay.
Would it be possible for somebody to have all of their chakras out of alignment?
Oh, yes. It's possible.
I'm sure that was me at one point. I was a walking mess.
And I think we all are at some point or
Right.
another. Because remember, we still have one straw.
Yes.
And we have that enlightened, and you go, oh, I'm just a mess. Well, there's your awareness.
Yes. This is true.
And so my goal is to let them know that there are natural remedies instead of an over-the-counter.
Right. Yes. Which, yes.
Because maybe an over-the-counter sleeping pill or anxiety
Right.
pill
No,
may not be
no.
your best option.
No meds. Oh, I love that.
You can't see me, but I literally loaded up on all of my stones before I came in here.
Yeah.
Just because I knew I have my turquoise for healing. I have my blue lace agate because I knew I was going to be speaking. I was going to be talking about chakras and Reiki, and I didn't want to miss anything.
Yeah.
And other Reiki masters, they have their own special.
Right.
Because the whole thing is Reiki knows where to go.
Mm-hmm.
And you just have to give it the opportunity.
Yeah. Now, totally random question, but let's say you wanted to focus on maybe your throat chakra.
Chakra.
Would wearing other colors and other stones take away from that one, or would you wear just for that one in particular to get that extra presence and power?
For me, I would pick a stone to wear.
Okay.
So that's why
Okay.
multicolors, you're trying to get yourself
All of it.
in alignment.
Yeah.
And so it's like I'm dealing with my right foot. Okay, what does my right foot tell me that I had the misfortune? Or, because there is no such thing as an accident. So what's it trying to tell me?
Right.
That's the foot and the ankle that I ended up spraining.
Mm-hmm.
So again, a lot of introspection, trying to...
Self-awareness.
Did you find some answers on why you sprained that foot?
So I actually had to go and talk to my Chinese medicine person, because she does the qi, and she's going, oh, you realize feminine side, masculine side, and that means they're not in balance. It wants you to take a step back and get them in alignment. So that's what I'm working on.
Okay. I love that you can say, like, there's things that I'm working on also, that we're not all perfect and we're human, and so we've got things to all of us have something to work on.
That is correct. It's a never-ending cycle,
Right.
but I embrace it with love and joy.
Yes, I could see your passion with it, which I love. I love when I see somebody just really care about what they do, because it shows. It's really awesome.
Are there some practical tips you could give the listeners that they could be doing on their own?
If you don't have a meditation practice, start one. Even if it's a minute. Trying to give yourself the peace and calm and to get rid of what we call our monkey brain. We live in a very fast-paced environment.
We do.
And Reiki can help you get to that place. And part of Reiki is that meditative, I'm
Relaxing.
okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm okay. If you can start there, that's the first step, that awareness.
Okay. That's awesome. And you've done Reiki before, you said.
I have not to this extent, but
Okay.
I've gone through some of it myself, and there are some interesting ways that it has been applicable.
Yeah.
I do know that at one point I was just constantly having this pain in my left ankle.
Okay.
Now, she mentioned the left side is the female side and the right side is the male side.
Mm-hmm.
And the ankle refers to siblings.
Oh, okay.
So it was some issues that maybe were coming up with Brenda.
Right.
You know, and so that it was like, have a conversation, figure out what's going on, and the pains began to go away.
Wow.
So
cool.
it definitely was relatable into very specific side, very specific organs, and the application thereof.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
yeah.
That's cool.
And with part of the Reiki 1 certification, you learn how to take the Reiki and hand placements to go through your chakras.
Okay.
So if you're wanting to start without a certification, just place your hands. Let's say if you're dealing with your throat and you have a sore throat, use your intuition and just kind of go and, why am I having trouble with my throat?
Mm-hmm.
You know, is it something I need to say? Something I can't say? How do you come to terms with that so that you can be at peace and
Move on.
let it go?
Yeah.
And move on.
Absolutely. Okay. That's awesome. Thank
Do
you.
you,
for
do you have
sharing.
any other examples of some other clients you've worked with or someone else you've dealt with that you could share? I love the example you gave the lady in London, how you were able
Yes,
to deal with
that
someone
was awesome.
so far away. Anyone locally that you've been able to deal with?
I have my children. We were talking earlier during break. I worked with a lady, and this was through somatic coaching, but every time I do a service, Reiki's included.
Mm-hmm.
So we were doing a somatic coaching session, and she was dealing with an event that was coming up that was giving her just so much anxiety, and I was able to get her to a place where she went into the appointment. It went fine. She was able to say what she needed to say, and she came out and she texted me and went, I didn't have any anxiety.
That's awesome.
Those are wonderful success stories.
That gave me goosebumps. That's awesome.
I had my daughter call me, and I was just new using the Reiki system, and she says, I'm driving up to Woodland, and I think I've got pink eye. I can't see, it's all blurry, it's all red, and I need it gone. and so what I do is I went, okay, let me know when you're there and when you're sitting down, because when you initiate the distance symbol, it might feel a little,
Okay, so you need to be stationary.
You do.
Don't be driving behind a
yes,
car.
don't.
Okay.
I could be, but they shouldn't be.
Right.
And so she told me when she was sitting down, I said, okay, I'm starting it now. And I said, I'm going to do it for about 30 minutes, but I'm just going to focus on the eye. But I said, it might take me to other places, because why are you having trouble with an eye? You know,
Right.
what is it you're not seeing?
Where's the message coming from?
Exactly. And she texted me about 45 minutes later, and she goes, well, she actually sent me a picture. She goes, Mom, it's gone.
No way.
Yes.
That's awesome.
So you never know. Reiki's going to do what Reiki needs to do. It knows where to go, and it cleared up her pink eye.
That's awesome. That's crazy. That's
Well,
it's
I
like
know.
magical. But love is.
That's what love is. Yes.
Yes.
It is magic.
I know in the past you've had a chance to share your family cancer stories. Do you feel up to sharing those again today?
I can share my father's. I might have trouble with my sister's.
Okay. She now has 2 members of her family that are dealing with the cancer
So
situation.
my dad passed from lung cancer back in 1979. So if you go back a few years, and I'm in my late 60s, it was almost 45 years ago.
Yeah.
And I was a young 20-year-old, and here I am, I'm losing my dad. It was, and you're going to have to help me on this, Baron, because I never get it right. It's lung cancer, but it was from him being on an aircraft carrier in the Navy.
Oh no.
Mesothelioma.
Okay.
And what was...
There's a lot of ads right now for if you were on those carriers and
Yeah.
exposed to the asbestos. That's the one that caught her dad.
Oh,
Dang it.
well, and what's amazing, it was 25 years later.
Right.
Because he had been in there in the 50s, 52, 54, that he was on the aircraft carrier. And he's actually slept on the top bunk. And so every night when he pulled himself in, he grabbed a pipe. And guess what it was covered in? Asbestos.
Yeah.
So it was...
Totally different time period
Right.
when how they built the ships back
Right.
then.
Yep.
Did he do chemotherapy or radiation or anything?
They went in to do surgery because he was a very big, athletic man
Yeah.
and had a barrel chest. And they were going in to see what they could do. They could do nothing.
It was that advanced.
It was that advanced. All the fibers in through the whole lung. They were hoping, because sometimes you can take out a part of a lung,
Right.
and it was not feasible. So we just tried to give him the best quality of
Yeah.
life. And of course, I didn't use oils back then. I didn't even have knowledge of them.
Right.
So it was just pain management, which was tough.
Yeah, very. Yeah. I'm really sorry.
It took you a long time to share that story.
Yes. And I have to say that the coaching and the Reiki and all of it has
helped.
Has helped, because it's gave me peace of mind.
Yeah.
The one I'm struggling with now is my sister.
Yeah.
She has a very rare cancer. It's appendix cancer is where it was initiated, and she actually had 2 types. And the recent diagnosis is that we won't have her for very long.
Okay. I'm sorry. I will keep you guys in my prayers and thoughts.
Thank you.
Yeah, we remember we had Celeste Guptill in here some time back.
Yes.
And she had appendix cancer as well. And it is a
Okay.
very rare cancer. It's difficult to battle through.
Yeah.
But I think that everything you're doing with the Reiki is helping
Yes.
Oh,
process.
not only that, whatever was going on a couple years ago, because I'm kind of athletic, and my friend and I had hiked the Grand Canyon rim to rim. Well, the second year we also put in for permits, and we kind of got more than we could use. So I invited my sister,
Yeah.
who hadn't hiked in 30 years, and I gave her a health routine. So the next year, when the diagnosis came in last year, she was the healthiest she had
Wow.
ever been in since we were kids.
Yeah.
So I gave her everything I could,
Right.
unknowingly.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely.
Did she know
Yeah.
she had the cancer when you gave that to her?
Nope.
Did she take the hike with you guys?
Yes.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
great.
We have those great memories.
That's awesome. That's really cool. Hiking the Grand Canyon together. That's cool.
At least there's a great memory right towards the end before everything went a different direction.
Oh yes.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, do you have your timeline?
I do. In fact, it would have been in the fall of 2022. The city of Kaiser had a neighborhood association, and they were working together in this one southeast neighborhood of Kaiser, and they wanted to have a gathering at that neighborhood. And so they had a couple different vendors that came out with tents, and we brought a tent out there to support that neighborhood. The police department showed up, the fire department showed up, and over the course of the evening, they gave away a number of items. And so we were able to give away several shirts to people that were there
That's
in
cool.
support of that neighborhood association
Yeah.
event. Interestingly enough, one of the policemen that was there is now the police chief of Kaiser,
Okay.
Chief Copeland. But it was a lot of fun just to be at that event and just show the support there in Kaiser, which ultimately wound up being about a mile from where we wound up having the store at.
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
Yeah,
Full
really
circle.
Full circle. But that would have been late fall of 2022 that we did that event there at Kaiser.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
Super fun event there.
And then if people want to buy your shirts, how would they go about that? Because can they do it online or is it storefront only?
They can do it online.
Okay.
There is a spot if you go to our website that says to buy shirts. You just click that button. It'll tell you the size and the color that you want to get. It's basically goes for like an e-store setup. Or you can always contact me and we can get you a shirt to deliver it to you here in town too.
Okay,
So,
perfect. Did you give your website? Sorry.
kicking-cancer.org.
Okay.
Just go there, hit shop, and you'll take you straight to the store with all the items there.
Perfect. And what if somebody wants to get involved at like one of your events and volunteer or
There's a
anything
spot
along
right
those-
there on that main page that says just to get involved.
Mm-hmm.
We've had several people click there. One of them wanted to get involved in Cancer Awareness Weekend, and so I got a request that came in, and he came out and threw a first pitch.
See, I love
So
that.
there's easy ways to contact us through the website as well.
Yes, you guys are very community driven and involved in a lot of things.
That's
so I love
always
that.
been the goal, is to stay community driven.
Yes, I love it. Okay. Well, Again, huge shout out to our sponsor, Venti's Cafe, for sponsoring this second half. Amazing food. The sweet potatoes being our food
That's
of the day.
Food of the day.
Theirs are so stinking good. They put coconut shavings on them, like roasted coconut shavings on them.
Little honey.
With honey drizzled on them. And then they've got this like red pepper dipping sauce. I'm not exact. It's like a red pepper aioli that they make in-house. My mouth is watering as I speak. It is to die for. It is so stinking good and healthy.
And healthy.
It is healthy as well.
Everything at Betty's is very healthy.
Yes, so go check them out. They've got so many different healthy options. And we will be back next week
As the movement continues.